Welcome, everybody. It is Memorial Day weekend. It is the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. I'm Kurt Roskoff. I'm with the World of Ability Podcast Network, and this your World of Ability podcast show. And we're here with our creative director, Marianne Waikiki. And I just want to set up the show a little bit. This show was underway. It was kicked off back July 26th, 2020. So that was the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And then we have been doing these shows ever since on Saturdays. So approaching 5 years of shows on Saturdays, and we're here to continue the tradition. It's all inspired and motivated from the world of people with disabilities, and we are here to proclaim people with disabilities as the masters of it of ability. Masters of ability. And what we have here is this gets us into a handful of demographics, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, the deaf community, blind community, people with physical disabilities, those living in chronic pain, everyone with a mental health diagnosis, and those with a goal of substance use reduction. And so I've been going around the world through the video calls and online meetings and letting people know that I'm basically the private side of social work. And we do a lot of work here in the veterans community, inspired out of going to adaptive water ski events where I met a lot of veterans, injured, wounded veterans, taking advantage of adaptive water ski equipment to go out there and join the water ski events. So this really opened up a lot of doors in what we do here at the World of Ability, a lot of things in the front of ability ministry, inclusive recruiting, accommodations and education, and looking at our government realm and governance and look at, yeah, we have our disability services, but how are all of the divisions of government doing, making our government friendly, useful for people with disabilities, and in our politics, looking at disability caucuses. And then I go around these business networking meetings and I say, what have you done today? What are you doing now? What will you be doing later with a professional with a disability? And I talked about water skiing, and we like to talk about all the fun things in life that we can do and say, how are we doing making that ideal under the terms of people with disabilities? So people with disabilities taught me terms like global public and inclusive infrastructure, web content accessibility guidelines, and again, the inclusion accessibility accommodations, and just making this world a haven, you know, under the leadership of people with disabilities, and, just looking at this functional assessment and analysis to say, what are people with disabilities saying about how the world is working, and what do we need to do to make it a better world, f- for all of us because of the insights of people with disabilities. So my commercial, folks, is, from out of Orlando, Florida, with Epcot. Epcot is experimental prototype community of tomorrow. And with that, the idea is that the computer generated graphics, blow up the globe at Disney World, and uh, and then we bring in everything that I have been discussing. So I want to check in with Marianne. Marianne, are you there? Are you able to give us a little bit of your initial entry into this show, the World of Ability podcast show? How's it going, Marianne?
Well, happy Memorial Weekend, and thank you, military moms and dads, for being of service for all these years. My name is Marianne Ambrose. I go by Marianne of Waikiki. Why not me, Kurt? And we are in the world of ability. And I'm an author and Apple game developer of the Acts of Kindness series, featuring 200 folk manus puppets. Now, my books are written for animation movies with sign language characters and a soundtrack by Lucy Lynch in the Perfect Way. And our tagline is So Go Out and Play. And we partner with Clean Water Foundation, Leon McLaughlin out of Seattle. And through my journey of sailing the oceans and interpreting sign language in Hawaii at the Unity Church of Hawaii, I was called upon to write about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch between Hawaii and California, and completed a second book for Rabbit Acts of Kindness, No Bully for Anti-Bullying. And we just completed the fourth book for Leon McLaughlin, Clean Water Foundation, Cool Acts of Kindness. So again, these book trailers will be able to share more of the storyline and the characters. Again, we want to highlight a character in this book, Noah the Hard of Hearing Whale, who's recruited by a sea turtle called the General of the New Earth Army to tackle the Great Pacific Garbage Patch between Hawaii and California. Now, Kurt, we talk about that there's millions of moms and dads coming home from being of service now who can't hear their own children or grandchildren. And so these are books, again, to be brought into animation movies. And no one has done that with sign language characters. So I'm really excited to share this journey with you as well. And I just want to highlight too, Kurt, 30 some years ago, I was a social worker with the deaf. I got grandfathered in and I worked for an organization called Transitions Community Support Programs out of Grand Rapids, Michigan for about 4 years. It's a mental health agency that did out services. We had a client load of 30 deaf adults. We assisted them with housing, AFC homes, that's adult foster care homes. A lot of them worked at Goodwill, employed, and we had to take them down to Department of Social Services to make sure that, their income and their work income was in balance to maintain their benefits. We had a sign language interpreter that focused in mental health. We had a psychiatrist there. I took them to doctor's appointments, dental appointments, picked up their bus passes so that they could get to work. And it was a great experience. And things do move on and things do change. And I made my transition to go into sales with doctors and everything like that. And getting back to that, so 30 some years ago, um, President Bush signed the American Disabilities Act. And at that time, I was working there. And so the American Disabilities Act makes sure that persons with disabilities is protected. And through our journey during this pandemic, I was introduced to become a Happy Neighborhood Project co-host, and then I volunteered my services of signing for the HNP Ability Group with Denise Vargas. And I met Trevor Gibbs. And Trevor Gibbs is called the Web Detective. And he makes sure your websites are ADA compliant. Now, business owners who are not ADA compliant can get up to a $75,000 fine. And he evaluated my website, and well, I didn't pass. And I had a lot to learn in regards to, the text, the size. I had the soundtrack by Luciana because it's so beautiful. When you open it up, you can't do that because people don't know where to click the buttons. I also learned that men over 50 acquire color blindness. And so there's just a lot of learning. I really want to highlight Trevor Gibbs from the American Disability Act. And you can set up a time with him. And wow, we met other people too. Dr. Liddy, who is now my intellectual property attorney, who is federally trademarking us and with a trust with Clean Water Foundation. So the good news is happening with all this amazing networking that we are doing. And I want to go back to you, Kurt, before we roll over to our guest, Timothy, here. But we're going to be highlighting the first initiative on June 7th with Jay Stoyan on the Disability Channel. And it's going to be on a telethon. And we'll have Kurt share that a little bit more. But what I want to share with you also, too, is that last July, I applied for Awesome Foundation Grant Award, $1,000 in the island of Oahu, Hawaii, Waikiki, Hawaii. And I got the sign language name because I always wore a fancy hat on the sailboat that I lived or at the Unity Church of Hawaii. So my deaf friend knew where to find his interpreter. And I just spoke with him yesterday too, and he's safe and sound in San Diego. As a caregiver now, he became a veterinary assistant during the pandemic. Wow, what amazing world of ability. And he helped me with all the names and the characters and finishing the Cool Acts of Kindness book. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody and look how we've transitioned over the years. Look what we transitioned through this pandemic. Look what we're trying to do for Clean Water Foundation. And with that grant, I was able to hire Jay Stoyan, who hires persons with disabilities, to interview me last fall for several months. And as I traveled to Canada, And Leon was in Hawaii, and he was able to deliver the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind a water unit value of $150, as well as our second book, Rabbit Acts of Kindness, No Bully, during the month of October, which was Anti-Bullying Month, and the coloring book. So thank you, Kurt and Emily. You helped us make a video Zoom presentation, and Leon had the experience of giving a presentation in front of a deaf principal with a sign language interpreter and 15 elementary deaf children talking about clean water. And again, we want to highlight the military families too. And speaking of clean water, you know, over on the island of Oahu, they had a Red Hill contamination, and over 100,000 military families had to be misplaced because of contaminated water. And it can happen, and water is life. So we are so grateful that we're partnering with him, and we have dedicated this book, Underwater Acts of Kindness, to Boyd Slat, who's doing ocean cleanup around the world. And we are its good news, and you are its messenger. So, Kurt, I don't know if you can play that video for Timothy so he can learn a little bit more of what we've been doing over the years and how we do it, and from that thought to action, and making waves of emotion happen. Kurt, are you there?
I am here. Before we get into that video, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're talking about Tim here and we're going to bring him in. So, Tim, you deal with technology and you've got a launch that has taken place and so forth. You want to describe to us the technology you provide and what the launch is all about that,
Yeah.
you told me about the last time you and I visited? Get us up to date.
So, so when we last spoke, I was talking about the launch of our Hub One platform. So it is officially in public beta and open to external users. But as you were talking and doing the introductions, I was like, oh, there's something else I should probably talk about as well, because you're talking about Americans with Disabilities Act. And so, I knew about it, but, since I don't have a disability that would impact my use of the internet or my job or anything, I just kind of, it was one of those things you knew about, but didn't take into consideration. And I was at an event when I was with Cigna, and I actually Richard Pimentel came, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Sorry if I butchered it, but he came and did a presentation for us, and he's one of the advocates for the ADA. And they actually made a movie about him called The Music Within, starring Ron Livingston, the the guy from Office Space. And it also has Martin Sheen, not Martin Sheen, Michael Sheen. Sorry, wrong name. But yeah, so he made that pretty profound, and I'm 8-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force, and it was Richard who showed me the correct response. So when somebody thanks me for my service, you always, or my, immediate reaction was to just, oh no, it was no big deal, downplay it. And he says, you know, that's not the right approach. When somebody thanks you for your service, the correct response is, it was an honor to serve. And ever since I've heard that, I was like, oh, that's a perfect fit. It's not, bragging or feeling like you're better than someone, and it's the correct response. And so I got that from Richard Pimentel. Um, and it was and so I was like, oh man, that's kind of, I mean, granted, I'm probably not, there he does these speeches all over the country, so I'm not the only person who's heard him do a presentation, but it's like that was a cool way to tie it back. And one of the programs that I advocate and what I do is a disability act, or a accessibility act, or program for websites, and it's a thing that a lot of people overlook. So if you'd like, I could talk a little bit about that in addition to our Hub One platform.
All right, we'll get back to that, Tim, but we've got another friend that has joined us. We have Bruce has hopped in here. We just want to do a check-in with you, Bruce. How you doing today?
Hey, not too bad. How are you doing?
Really good, really good. Just want to check in terms of connecting with our show. If you had anything you want to do to introduce yourself and let the world know who is Bruce.
He's
Oh,
a retired veteran too, Navy. So take it away. So go out and play Bruce, the bird guy.
oh my God. Okay, I'm not, like I said, I'm not too familiar with these things, but happy Memorial Day to everybody. I just saw a commercial on TV about supporting the troops, and Jesus, I was just in tears. And I normally don't donate too much, I got a CBS CBN Christian Broadcasting. That I give $84 a month for that, but I normally don't because I don't believe in those things. But man, I was so touched by this commercial with the veterans, and I had to give them $100 today. I was in tears, but yeah, I guess I was in the Navy for 4 years, floating on the ocean, flipping eggs for the troops, but didn't kill nobody or see any war. But it was back in the 70s, early 70s. So it's Vietnam era, but um, 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 it was at the tail end of everything. So interesting. But I did meet a bunch of people that were in foxholes and scared to death fighting. And I'm glad I wasn't part of it, actually. So I'm a lucky guy. That's about it. I'm happy.
Well, we were talking about the ADA, Bruce, and 30 years ago, I was a social worker with the deaf back in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And President Bush signed that American Disabilities Act. And the place that I worked for is called Transitions Community Support Programs. And I just highlighted people who've transitioned over their lifetime. I transitioned to Hawaii. And I ended up interpreting for my deaf friend Scott, who you met. He says aloha. He's in San Diego. He's a caregiver. And during the pandemic, Bruce, he became a veterinary assistant. So just imagine, these interpreters interpreting sign language and teaching education during COVID. He accomplished it. So he says aloha. I spoke with him yesterday. Remember, we did some shows at Sea Life Park about ocean cleanup with the sign language and the puppets. And I'm just
Okay.
sharing the good news. And so, talking about transition, please just enlighten us a little bit how you became the bird guy.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I moved here in '98 in Hawaii, and I was in Waikiki, and I saw this macaw flying down the streets. Full wing, red macaw, green wing macaw, and I was so impressed. I loved those things. I always wanted to own one, never did. And this guy named Rich Miano, which was a really good friend of mine until he passed, and his wife. Well, the wife went first, then he went right after her, which was very interesting. But he's the father of the football player, quarterback Rich Miano for the UH. And but we became really good buddies. We traveled a little bit back and forth with the birds in the U.S. And what am I getting at? Oh, but this bird was loose, and I helped them catch him. Because they get loose occasionally. Full winged, and they get scared. And I became his buddy, and then became the bird guy through him. And to make a long story short, I broke away from him, and he always expected. And I don't know, not that I'm famous or anything, but pretty well known in Hawaii. I do the birds. I put birds on people, and they're non they're very friendly, and I treat people like a Christmas tree. Just decorate them, and they take memorable photos. And so from macaws to Indian ringnecks to sun conures to cockatoos, African grays, eclectus parrots, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really kind of interesting. If you Googled me, you can see Bird Guy Hawaii and see what I do. But
Awesome. So I kind of got to wrap it up here. I'm going with a retired veteran nurse from Tucson and sailing instructor over here too. But I want to have Bruce and Timothy be where we're talking about the websites. Now, Trevor Gibb, I'm going to introduce you to Bruce. He made my website through HostSinger,
okay,
$140 for 4 years. And he makes sure your websites are ADA compliant. And I wanted to have Timothy take it away. I'm going to be listening. I'm traveling, but you guys can interact and we can talk story about websites and whatever our passion is. So thank you so much for being here.
thank you.
Oh, sorry, was that the handoff to me?
Yeah, so go ahead. You said you could dive in a little bit more about web content accessibility and what you do
Yeah.
with all your work in terms of considering the users with disabilities?
Well, yeah. So we have a program that we promote. It's a freemium model because you can install it on any website for free. Now, most website builders they do have these now as plugins, and most of them are free. And the problem I've encountered with a lot of the ones that come built in and free like that is there isn't an upgradable version, and it doesn't get you all the way there. So that's why we promote the one that we do, because you plug it into your website, and then that gets you most of the way. And if you would like to get your site the rest of the way, you're already connected to their system. You just need to meet with one of their technicians, and they'll configure it to be more specific to your website. And the thing that a lot of people don't consider is that web accessibility feature on your website that enables it for every page on your website. That's something that Google's looking at when it's ranking you. That's one of the indicators. It's not just how relevant your site is to what they're looking for, it's also how accessible is your site. And 1 in 5 Americans has some sort of disability that makes it harder for them to interact with a website, whether that be a hearing condition, whether that means poor eyesight, so anything like that. These plugins are fantastic because they provide that text to speech, virtual keyboards, and things that like that makes parts that would be inaccessible to them otherwise more accessible. Um, and I was like, that's originally when I agreed to come on the show, that wasn't what I planned on talking about. But while I'm here, might as well.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Tim. So Tim, let's continue on. Explain for Bruce, like you're talking about, the program you launched and so forth. Can you explain it so that Bruce can understand, like, why would he use the software that you design? What is it all about, and why would Bruce use it?
Oh, if you're talking, it sounds like you're talking about Hub One. So I believe, I believe when I was initially pitching this, I was pushing for the name Axiom. I got shut down on that. It is now Hub One officially, and it's going to be that name going forward. And the reason we created the program is we were using Calendly and what's the other one, HubSpot and Constant Contact, and we weren't satisfied with those programs. We weren't happy with what we were getting. Uh, there was little issues, things that didn't work for us, and so we built our own internal tools that I've been using the calendar system for years, since at least the end of 2021. And the more we started building on this platform and adding tools that we wanted for our business, the more we started to realize these are tools that any business could use, that and a lot of businesses are looking for because they're tired of using these other systems that don't provide what they're looking for. So our system is, it has a calendar, it's got invoicing, it has a CRM, it has automated workflows all in one system. And so prior to that, when I had somebody book a calendar, yeah, I'd create a contact in that system, but then I'd have to export that to my another system where I did my CRMs. And then I had to export that to another system where I kept in touch with my clients. So I had these three systems all working independently of each other. Now they're all integrated in one. And I do have like a 2-minute video that I've prepared for if you want to share that, but I think I don't know if you want to show that now or later, but that's up to you and how you want to do the format of the show.
Yeah, well, we'll get right into that. But first, Bruce, I just kind of want your reaction here and learn a little bit more about you. We're talking about, computers and online tools and keeping track of data and, th digital calendars and stuff like that. Bruce, as someone doing what you're doing, do computers factor in much with what you're doing day to day, or are you not much of a technology guy?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not much of a technology guy, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with websites too. I mean, I am, but how do people go? I mean, I got business cards that said my website on it, which is not active anymore. My son was going to do something with it and screwed it up more. I was paying like $40, $50 a day. I mean, a month for, um, it seemed expensive. I don't know, maybe not that much, but it just, before I was with GoDaddy and it was like about a couple $100 every 3 years or something like that. But, um, but now I don't even have one. So it's kind of nice to have a website, but if people want to know about me, they go to Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But I don't. activate that stuff anymore either. But it's just nice to have my name out there, though. But I'm not a technology person, so do I need a website? I don't know. I think so. I'd like to.
So my recommendation is yes, even if it's not from me or anybody I know, you want a website, and I would say so. You've got social media, but I would also recommend a Google Business Profile if you don't have one of those, and then forget the name of Microsoft's equivalent. It's something like a Webmaster or something along those lines. But there's a Bing specific profile. And the name escapes me at the moment, but both of those are free to set up, and those are something every business should have, and because it's free and it's going to put your name out there more than your people are more likely to find your Google business profile than they are to find your Facebook page. That's just that's just how it is. Google's going to promote that. Same thing with Bing's platform. They're going to promote your business on their platform more than Facebook's your business profile on Facebook. That's just the nature of the how the internet works.
All right. Interesting. So I don't know. I don't know how to do that, but maybe we could talk
Yeah,
on the side.
yeah, it's really easy to set up, and I would there are ways. So what I have right now, and what I encourage my other clients to do is to have that Google Business Profile and then link that with a program that we offer. So that way, all of their contact information across their social media accounts, whether that means Yelp, Facebook, Instagram, their website, it makes sure that all of that information is matching. So that way, if you ever change your phone number, there's not that disjointed, because that's another thing that hurts your rankings on Google when somebody's searching for your business. Now, for your business, I don't know if that is a huge factor because it sounds like most of the people uh, that you encounter for your business, you said you decorate them with birds. Do you meet these people on the streets, or that you're out there with your birds and they come up and they want photos with you? Is that where most of your
Usually
business comes from?
mouth, word of mouth, people that done it before, they talk about it for months and months, and I'm sure I got thousands of pictures on people's refrigerator, with my
Yeah.
birds on it. It's just for tourists. My son, he works in Waikiki, I drop off a handful of birds with him, and he's there at nighttime on the streets, people walking by, but he doesn't advertise me. He's Burke Guy Jr., but still, he gets a pocket full of money every night. But I do special events like at the Blaisdell Convention Center, that we have, our big convention center. They have a thing called Pet Expo. And I'm in the corner of the Pet Expo, and people just come from miles just to see me, actually, but it's dogs, cats, birds, rabbits, chickens. They got all kinds of animals. But my line is just always long. Well, I don't want to say miles, but that's exaggeration. Um, but it's nonstop. It's just me putting birds on people for 6 hours nonstop, and so it's kind of fun. We still only ask for a tip. We don't put a tip jar out there because people only put $1 in there, but they say, "Oh, how much?" I say, "Oh, $5 at least." Depends on what kind of car you drive. What kind of car you drive? Oh, Lexus. Okay, put in 20. Why not? No, I don't. We try to make it funny and stuff, but knock on wood, nobody's been getting bitten in a long, long time. I stopped telling people they don't bite anymore because every time you say they don't bite, they got to stick their finger in their doggone throat. And I said, damn it, I'll do that. I'd bite you too if you did that to me. But everybody's got to prove yourself wrong, right? So, but they are super special, and they don't mess with jewelry, and like most parrots would do. You put a bird on somebody's shoulder, they'll take their earrings off or the button off of their cap, which is amazing. They can do that in a heartbeat without even knowing it. You don't even feel it. But anyway, I don't know. So the word of mouth is usually the best. But if I had a website and advertise better,
Mhm.
it would be nice. But I'm retired, so I
Yeah.
don't want too much.
Yeah.
Not
So, well, my expertise is in digital marketing, so my natural inclination is to lean you more towards that. But I'm also focused on ROI. So, if your business is doing great and it sounds like it is through word of mouth, I wouldn't recommend spending any extra money I would everything that I would recommend for you is all the stuff you can do for free. Like I said, Google Business Profile is free. Connecting all
Nice.
your information is very low cost, like pretty negligible as far as that goes. And it's like, yeah, you should be fine with just that. But I would say right now it sounds like most of your business is the word of mouth. But what about businesses reaching out to you as like to have at their event? Like, oh, hey, we want to have you at our corporate retreat or whatever
Exactly.
our event is like, hey, we've got the bird guy, come get pictures. Is that something where you get contacted
Yeah.
about?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I
Okay.
get that. Kinka,
So,
the company, they do all kinds of touristy luau's and corporate events and stuff like that. And they call me periodically, which they just
yeah.
recently did last month at Turtle Bay Resort, which is a big, famous, nice place. So it worked out good. Made $1,000 pretty easily.
Yeah. So I imagine people aren't going on Google and searching bird guy near me or something along those lines. So I imagine the people who'd want to find your business are those more corporate entities that are like, hey, I want something cool and interesting to have, at my event that people can be like, oh, people will remember what we did and what we brought. They'll, we want them to bring their families and make memories. How can we make that more interesting? It's like, yeah, usually they'll have a guy on there who's, balancing on a board and juggling flaming torches and that those types of things are like, okay, but there's a lot of those. I've never heard of anybody else doing what you do. So I
Yeah,
imagine
I'm
imagine
unique.
events were like, hey, this is something unique and different.
Yes, I agree. Okay, well, we need to talk. I'm interested. I'd like to have an active website. So cool. I
All
got
right.
your.
And oh, I was about to say one of the things. So you said, yeah, I don't think your son messed up something because, yeah, I remember back in the day when GoDaddy used to have very affordable, like right now, their hosting fees. Last time I was using them, it was like $36 a month for just the hosting. And then it's like there's other fees on top of that for the SSL where they're charging like something crazy like 190 something bucks. And I'm like, those are free. How are you charging $200 a year?
Right, right,
So I was like, I don't recommend GoDaddy anymore because their
right.
fees have just been climbing up.
Everything changes. Yeah, it's terrible. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, I'm ready to contact you. Awesome, awesome. All
All right.
right,
Glad we were on this show together. Thank you, Kurt, for introducing us.
thumbs up. Mahalo. All right,
There we
not
go.
a lot of
So,
money. No biggie.
so Tim, I've got a question for you. I was kind of backtracking to see some stuff that I may have had on you on social media, and I found a little something on Facebook. I didn't get right on LinkedIn. Are you doing much of anything on LinkedIn? How do we find you on LinkedIn.com?
Oh, that's just my profile on LinkedIn. So I can't remember. I don't think there's a separate business entity on LinkedIn. It's just my LinkedIn profile there. I was about to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah, I searched for Timothy W. Joseph, and I'm finding a lot of other
yeah,
Timothy Josephs.
okay. I can look that up real fast. And do you want me to post that in the chat?
Yeah, yeah, if you could, that'd be great. So, at the same time, my wife Sue, our producer here, is telling me she's got a little video to go along with what Marianne was talking about, with the Underwater Acts of Kindness uh, book, which I have right here, Underwater Acts of Kindness. And so there's a little video that goes along with it. Sue, are you ready to share the video? And thank you, Tim, for your LinkedIn link. So, Sue, is that a go or no?
You could help save the ocean just by listening to a story. Set sail with Underwater Acts of Kindness. Join Noah, the hard of hearing humpback whale, and his marine friends as they take on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. On their journey between Hawaii and California, they discover an enormous pile of plastic, but with teamwork and courage, they plan to clean it up. With the guidance of Dod General of the New Earth Army, they rally ocean creatures and you to help restore our seas. Now available on Amazon Audible, listen as author Marianne of Waikiki narrates this inspiring adventure, featuring mesmerizing music by Lucy and the Perfect Wave and Nick's guitar, echoing the sounds of whales and dolphins. This book is dedicated to Boy and Slat, founder of The Ocean Cleanup, making waves for a cleaner future. Sing along with Noah's song and dive into a world of peace, love, happiness, and thanks. After reading, visit the Acts of Kindness series YouTube channel for more adventures. Learn the ASL ABCS with Dr. Fingers, the fingerspelling hermit crab on YouTube, kids. Get coloring books now at www.actsofkindnessseries.com and Amazon. Plus, grab your New Earth Army t-shirt and pledge to protect our planet. Underwater Acts of Kindness by Marianne of Waikiki. Available now on Amazon, Audible, and actsofkindnessseries.com.
There you go. And this is all made complete with a finger puppet series. So here is Shaka the Shark here. And then we've got King Octo the Eighth. Look at that. All this fun stuff going along with all of the creative works of Marianne. So Bruce, are you familiar with all of these works that Marianne does?
Oh, yeah. Very interesting.
You have the book yet or no?
I don't.
Don't yet? Okay. All right. Well, this
Hey,
is
Marianne,
all part of the journey.
yes. Well, we're going to talk.
All right, good. So Tim, what do you think about all this work by Marianne?
Yeah, first time hearing of it is on the show, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And that video, I was like, oh man, I was like, okay, I mentioned a video myself. I was like, yeah, but that's just me talking about the platform. I was like, okay, very, very higher production value on her video that compared to mine. So
All
I was
right, well,
like, wow, that's very
let's
well
go ahead
done.
and dive in, Tim. Let's see you talking about your platform, and let's go ahead and play your video. If you're ready, are you ready
Yeah.
to play
Uh,
it?
yeah, do I have permissions to share my screen?
Maybe a little reluctantly, but yeah, we gave you permission. Just having fun here while we're
All right.
setting up the video. And then I'm just going to trust that techie guy like Tim here knows to share the system sounds on the share, because that's always fun to see a video and not hear the words being spoken.
I wish I was more technical.
There
More,
you go.
There you
That's
go.
why we're connecting you to Tim. He'll take care of it.
Had like
yes.
one too many windows open there. All right. So hopefully you can see my current window.
I
All
see,
right.
yeah, we see your LinkedIn there. Now you're over at Hub One with the video. There we go.
All right. Thank you for letting me present this platform to you. This is our new platform, Hub One. Right now, it is an open beta, and every user who signs up during the beta process
The
will
audio's
get a
low.
live account, meaning that Okay. any future premium
Yeah, I'm
version
not picking up on your voiceover either.
charge. So our platform is designed to be a replacement. Okay. Let's see. Is there a way I can?
Yeah, because you should be clicking share, and then after
I
one
did.
click,
So
there's
you said the
share
audio
option.
is not coming through at all?
Not too
Faintly.
much. So it seems like we're getting it through your microphone rather than through the share sound feature. So you have to
Yeah,
click that box.
so I did say share sound, but let's make sure. I was like,
Because you're telling us you hear it fine, but it's not coming through to us.
yeah. I was like,
Huh.
the only option I have there is stereo versus mono. I was like, it is shared. Bum, 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 bum. Well, I enabled the optimize for video sharing. Hopefully that improves the sound quality. We'll try this again.
Yep.
All right, let's restart this and hopefully you can hear me. If not, maybe I will just do a live demo. Thank you for letting me present this platform to you. This is our new platform, hear it? Hub One. Right now, it is an open beta, and every user who signs up
Low.
during the process will
Nope.
get
Nope, not too much. So it looks like you're gonna have to do a live demo, and we'll have to come back to your prepared videos some other way.
Yeah, I was like, there's
I don't
no.
know if you got a link that I can share it and see if it comes through better for my system.
Oh, yeah, probably. Let's go ahead and try that option and let's let one of you guys share it. Yeah, I'm not sure why the audio because
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
unusual.
like you said, it was probably coming through my monitor to my microphone, and that's not what I want. But it didn't give me the option to to use my computer volume if that. So hopefully you guys can, yeah, if you guys can get that to play better. I was
Here
like,
we
yeah,
go.
like I'm pretty sure that wasn't a failure on my part, but
Here you go. Let's share sound.
You got it or you want me?
Let's try it here.
thank you for letting me present this platform to you. This is our new platform, Hub One. Right now, it is an open beta, and every user who signs up during the beta process will get a free for life account, meaning that any future premium features that we add to the platform, you will get access to at no additional charge. All right, so our platform is designed to be a replacement for Calendly, HubSpot, and Constant Contact, all in one centralized location. So you got your dashboard, which gives you a overview of things that are coming up in the week. Here's where you can see your contacts, and inside here you can send out email and SMS, and they will show up in the same window, so you can see your entire conversation with that client. And that SMS is available if you have SMS integrated with our platform. In here, you can also send out invoices. In the calendar here, this is something that we have over Calendly, and I'm not even sure if the paid versions of Calendly offer this, but I know the free version definitely does not, and that's integrating your personal calendar with your business calendar. So right now, individuals can come in here and create a meeting inside Hub One using the calendar link provided, schedule the meeting here, and it shows up and it'll have one of these calendar icons next to it. But all of these ones with a G are coming from this individual's personal Gmail account. Now, this is a demo account, so everything is coming from that. So similarly, inside payments, this is where you would track your invoices for customers. We also have workflow so that we have automated abilities with our emails. You can create an email template. It'll pull the information like, hi, Joe. If the contact's first name is Joe, it'll automatically pull that in. And you can have the same template email 15 or 20 different clients. Also, you can set it up with workflows so that way, hey, they haven't responded in a week. Let's send a follow-up. And it's going to say, hey, Joe, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? What's your situation? Are you interested? Did you have time to go over the plan I submitted? Things like that. These are all available in our free version. All right, so it was a slightly sped up there. It was at 1.2 times speed, but the information got across, and the workflows are something that's being constantly added to. We're adding new features all the time, and right now we're signing people up because we want that feedback. It's like, oh, the system as it is right now is the stuff that we wanted for our internal use. But after we've gotten more and more users, we're like, oh, that's something we hadn't considered. We need to add that as well. And so we're adding new features to accommodate the new users that are coming in. So the more people we get on the system, the better feedback we get, the better the system gets.
All right, excellent. So Tim, explain a little bit, now that you got me to your LinkedIn profile. First of all, you're showing Umbrella Local. Give us a little bit more of the background of Umbrella Local and, kind of what's going on with all of that and kind of what type of a team are you working with? Kind of what are y'all bringing to us through
Yeah,
Umbrella?
so Umbrella Local is how I got started in digital marketing. So a couple years back, I was doing reselling. So I was buying in bulk wholesale and then reselling at a small markup. My business was growing, but it was going to take years to get where I needed to be. So I started advertising on my own I was like, oh, what's the best way to advertise what I'm doing? Is Google pay per click and a couple other things. And I spent money on that. And I was like, oh, when I did well, yeah, fantastic. My sales increased. I was doing better. I was like, yeah, my profits are going up. But every once in a while, you'd make a bad bet or and it's like, oh, now all that money was just wasted. I didn't increase the sales and I just eroded all the profits I just gained. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm too small for this kind of thing. I shouldn't be advertising. It's a waste of money. And a lot of people have that same misconception. And it was through a friend of a friend that I encountered somebody who was working with Umbrella Local. And they introduced me to programs I had never heard of. And I was like, oh, well, these are affordable for my budget. Might as well try it. Hopefully, I'll get better results. And I did get better results. And I was starting to see those increase in profits without the losses. And I was like, you know what? These guys know what they're doing. and I'm just doing the reselling stuff because it's a way to make money and I'm good at it. But I wasn't passionate about it, and it wasn't utilizing my skill set because I've got 20 years of IT experience. So I was like, it doesn't take a whole lot of networking abilities or the ability to understand computers to buy something, remove it from the package, repackage it, and resell it. There's not a whole lot of no, not a whole lot of training that goes behind that. Whereas when I started getting involved with these tools for digital marketing, I'm like, oh, I can use my expertise and my background here, and I can use this. I was like, oh, small businesses won't understand this, but I do. So it was kind of like it just kind of fell in my lap, and it seemed like a perfect fit for me. So instead of instead of continuing to resell stuff, I transitioned into digital marketing, and it was because I met individuals working with Umbrella Local. Now, Umbrella Local is a affiliation of digital marketers. So it's a bunch of independent agencies all under one roof. And we all share resources together. There is Itamar Shafir is the head of the organization, and he's the one who, he's the one who does most of the training and gives us all, kind of information and provides new resources like, hey guys, this is a new tool I just found out about. He's really good at sharing that with the group. And it allows us all to be better at what we do. And sometimes there's something that I don't know about, but I can reach out to that community and be like, "Hey, how do you do this, or how does it do that?" And they'll respond back to me, and then I can provide that to my clients. And it's like with somebody else, like with another firm, they don't have that. They might have their internal guys where they can go and ask them questions, but if that group has never encountered it, or if they don't have the program, or if they don't know about the technology, well, they're limited. Whereas I can access anybody in the network and reach out and be like, hey, is there a solution for this? And usually there's somebody in the network that's like, yeah, this is how you do that. Here, I'll help you with it. So it's fantastic for me, and it's great for my clients because anytime there's something that they need solved, uh, I haven't had an issue yet that I haven't been able to solve for a client.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Great.
there you go. So on your Facebook profile, Tim, a little something a little bit more fun. You've got on your banner, you've got on here, you are being monitored, and a little emblem of one person literally taking a monitor and ready to
Yeah,
clobber him with the monitor. But is there more to it than just the funny?
no, like my Facebook is my personal stuff, and I rarely use Facebook at all. I know that's a faux pas in my industry because you're supposed to be on Facebook. I don't like Facebook, and I don't not to get political or whatever, but the founder has done a lot of things like, yeah, I don't think I want to support these guys, but I do have a business profile on Facebook, and I think that's what you're more looking for, but I'm not very active on it. Uh it's fairly standard. There's not much there. And I'm glad I did change the profile picture back because up until I think like 8 days ago, as a joke, I had a picture of me with what my brother called a work mullet, where it's front and the back, and then so I had created that using AI and a bit of Photoshop or whatever, and because he was telling me I needed a business mullet, and so I was like, I spent all day growing this and posted that was my profile picture for about 2 months. Like I can show you, but it's just kind of like an inside or kind of joke between me and my brothers.
All right. Yeah. I think I did take a glance at it at one point when you and I were introduced originally, and so well, very
Yeah.
good. So, so your claim on LinkedIn is generating leads and sales for small businesses with digital marketing. Now, for
Mhm.
me, that when we're talking about sales, that tells me that we're getting people's attention. Um, we're falling within their area of interests. We're sticking with them enough and building that relationship that we're hitting what they desire. And then with that great understanding, we're converting that desire to an action, which is
Mhm.
their purchase, our sale. Tell us more about how that falls into your work. How is that being accomplished digitally?
Yeah. So there is one step of that I can't help with, and that's once the user reaches your business and they're actively in communication with you, will they become a client or not? that's something I can't help you with. That's something the business needs to work on. If my job is to get people to come to you, and once you've connected with them, that's the end of my responsibility as a digital marketer. Now, there are a couple of levels here. So the first thing I want to talk about is active versus passive clients. So there's certain industries where you have to actively go out and pursue customers because they're not looking for you. There's certain industries where they're actively looking for you. So an active client is somebody who's looking for home services, like, oh, I need an electrician, I need a plumber, I need a barber, they're looking for your business. And so those are people that are going to go on Google and search auto dealer near me, things along those lines. But then there's passive clients. And this would think about this more like shoe sales or whatever, or this would be items. And this is what my industry was in reselling items is these are people who aren't actively going out there and looking, uh, you know, what's a good, what's the lowest, or they might go on Google Shopping or whatever and say the lowest price for this item that everybody's buying, that sort of thing. But if you have a new product or like a T-shirt or specialty shoes like Zappos before they got big, they had to go out there and say what sets our shoe brand apart, what makes us something that you want to buy versus Nike, the established guys. So they had to go out there and they had to promote their stuff in front of people, and this is so they'd be actively advertising to those people. And then this versus somebody versus promoting their business on like Google searches and Google pay per click where people are actively looking for their business. So those two separate types of business models. So some people they try to apply the active approach to their business when it doesn't make sense because their customers are more passive customers. So they need to be going out there and finding them versus, reacting to people finding them. So it depends on your industry, but which side of that you need to focus on. If your clients are actively looking for you, you need to be out there. You need to be increasing your ranking on searching so that way you show up on that first page. You need to be making sure that all of your websites are all have the consistent information, that sort of thing, because uh, people are actively looking for you. But when they're not actively looking for you because they don't know about you, well, that's where you need to be making advertising. You need to talk about promotionals like, hey, 20% off or uh, hey, win a free vacation. Those sorts of things is what you need to do to get people's attention. Or if you just have a really good product and you have a unique selling position because of your product, that's, make an ad targeting that, something that will get people to notice you and pay attention to you because, we're bombarded with messages and ads all the time. So you need something that'll help you stand out. And again, those two different modes don't work for all businesses. So, but once you get the eyeballs, whether it's by clicking on your ad or by searching for you and finding your information, the next thing is they're going to get to your website, whether that means your social media account or your specific business website. Well, from there, if your website or your social media profile looks like garbage, you know, more than likely they're gonna, say, oh, pass and go to the next guy on the search. Like, go who's number two on the Google search list, or I'm so surprised that some like very large organizations with lots of money have a website and it's literally a web document that they've uploaded and maybe they changed the title font to a different color, but it looks like it looks like an eyesore and it's not very compelling. And you're like, okay, I know these guys have money, they should be able to do something better than this, but this whole site looks unprofessional and they're losing I don't know how many. So yeah, so I guess sorry if I'm rambling or taking up too much time, but this is what I'm passionate about and what I know about. But these people are often paying for Google pay per clicks, and you're talking about $25 to $40 per click, and it's to get them to a website that somebody's going to look at the website and be like, no, nope, not working with those guys. I'm going to go to somebody else who's paying less for clicks, but they've got a better website. It's one of those things a lot of businesses don't think about because the website's secondary. But it's the same thing as a storefront. When that's people's first impression of you is often your website. What do they see first? Is it something that they're looking like, oh, this guy's a professional, he knows what he's doing, or does it make you look like an amateur? So you want to make sure that you're presenting the best possible front that you can. And so that's part of what I do. So I'm like, okay, getting traffic to your website, making sure your website is as compelling as possible. So that way it'll get that person likely to contact you. And the next stage is them leaving their information, whether that means booking an appointment, leaving their email address or phone number, some way that you can contact them back. And that's the third stage of it, and that's where my area is, is limited because of being digital. That's the end of the digital footprint. From that point on, you got a way to contact them. You're going to be interacting with them and connecting with them, and that's on the business owner at that point to, talk with the individual and be like, "Oh, we can work together." Or, maybe maybe you're having a bad day and you scare them away because you're being angry with them, like, "Oh no, I just lost another customer." It's like, well, at some point, if that's the issue, all of my services are not going to be able to rectify that issue. You'd need to, at that point, the business needs to work on themselves. And in my experience, it's been very easy to pick out the businesses that are going to be that issue. And it's like, you know what? You probably need my services, but I'm not going to offer them. Good luck finding someone else, because I know someone like that is going to pay for my services and then complain when they're not getting the results. They're like, and I'm like, I brought you this many people. I created these ads for you. You got these leads and you weren't able to convert them to customers. And now you're blaming it on me. So I was like, so yeah, you learn to identify those types of businesses and be like, yeah, but if it's a business that loves what they do, that is very passionate, willing to go the extra mile for their customers, those are the kinds that I want to work with, because it's like, yeah, right now you're a great business. You just don't have enough people that know about you. Let me be the one that shouts your name from the rooftops.
There
I
you go.
love it.
Yeah, right. So Bruce, you love what you do. How did you ever get involved with birds? I don't know if I missed it from our visit already, but I want to know how this journey began that you started to be a guy that showed a bird to another person. What's that all about?
Oh, like I said earlier, I moved to Waikiki in what, 98, and I saw this guy's bird flying down the street, and I always wanted a macaw when I was a kid. I
Yeah.
had animals of all sorts before when I was a child growing up in Chicago area. And not that I'm proud of that, but Chicago's not too bad. But a nice place to visit. I'll never go back. Anyway, um, but I adopted a couple of his birds, and helped him out in his business. He was doing the same thing. And before he died, he always expected that I should give him some royalties, because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for him and all that stuff. But I breed birds. I got like 120 birds right now, and so my whole house looks like Jurassic Park. All around my house, just bird cages and plants and foliage and birds and noise and all kinds of stuff. But knock on wood, they're not as noisy as they should be. And I got neighbors all around me, so I'm not out in the country. But it's just great, because I'm hand feeding 14 babies right now, cockatiels and ringnecks and Alexandrians and sun conures, all kinds of different kinds of birds. But I need a good advertisement to sell them, and that's one thing I don't do. So I'm hoping that Tim and he's got a direction for me to do that and too, which is kind of neat. I love this show. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with everything he said. It was great. And normally it gets on and on and on. I just go wandering and not understanding, but I understand everything he's talking about, which is great. And I'm so excited to get going. And but my love for birds will always remain the same, even though I'm semi-retired. That's about it.
All
I'm
right.
happy camper today.
I
Happy
was just,
camper. There we
yeah,
go. That's what we like here. So,
yeah. I was like,
um,
most people spend good money to visit the zoo. Sounds like you live in one.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I got dogs, cats, and chickens running around too. So it's almost like a zoo, but a bird sanctuary basically too. I don't know what you call it. Come on over and visit. When you coming to Hawaii again? When's the last time you've been in Hawaii?
Oh, I have never been to Hawaii, so
Oh, stop it!
Yeah, I've been coast to coast. I have not been to Hawaii yet. My brother's been there. So yeah, 8 years in
I
the
don't
Air
see how
Force.
people can live without at least visiting Hawaii at one time in
Well,
their life.
yeah, recruiter was like join the Air Force, see the world. 8 years
There you go.
Montgomery, Alabama. I didn't,
Okay. So you're a
didn't
veteran?
get to go any other places. My brother is in the Air Force. He's been to England, Las Vegas. He's now in Italy, and you know,
Oh wow.
he's waiting on orders, but he's probably going to end up in Korea. And his wife is from Hawaii, and so they've visited Hawaii twice. I'm like, come on. I
Wow,
was
cool,
stuck
cool.
in Alabama.
All right, interesting. Keep up the good work. I mean, don't no break the mold.
Yeah. Yeah, I will go to Hawaii eventually. I mean, that's uh I want to go to Egypt first and then Hawaii. So I was like, I've gone to Italy. We went to Italy 2 years ago, and then earlier this year we went to Japan. So I was like, oh man, that's the two of the main places I want to see. Got to see the Vatican and Rome, and now it's I
Wow.
want to see the pyramids of Egypt for myself, and
Oh
then
wow.
next is Hawaii. Because I was like, well, if I had the choice between the two, I think pyramids is slightly above Hawaii. I'm like, Hawaii is beautiful, but I don't know. There's just that,
Pyramids are
that
cool. Yes.
awe-inspiring.
I tell people a lot of things. Watch a video is much better than to break the time and the money to go see. Like going to it in front of a volcano. I mean, that's fun, I'm sure, and it's good to say you've been there and almost touched the lava and burn yourself. But a video is much more impressive. But like climbing Diamond Head is a must. Going Pearl Harbor, check that out. And there's so many different things to see, and that you should see, and chalk it up. You've done it. Been there, done that. Got that T-shirt.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's cool.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't have any plans right now, but hopefully next year I'll go to Egypt, and then maybe the year after that we'll plan for Hawaii.
Maybe when I talk to you on the side, then yeah, I'll give you my personal contact, and let's I'll tour you the place.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you might convince me that Hawaii should be higher up on my list. It's like, okay,
No,
let's
no,
go
go to
Hawaii
Egypt
before Egypt.
first. Go to Egypt first. I gotta go to Japan. I married a
Yeah.
Japanese girl 5 years now, so I'm not familiar with Japan at all.
Oh,
Might
no,
even thinking of moving to Okinawa.
yeah, Japan was really cool, and like we had a full vacation. And one of the cool things we did is the streets of Shibuya, we got to drive go-karts down them, and I was like, man, that was crazy. You're driving on the
Wow.
streets, and yeah, I was like, that was really cool. We got to see Mount Fuji up close. Oh yeah, it was one of those lifetime experiences.
Yes, cool, cool. I'm gonna be there soon, someday.
Yeah,
Awesome.
like so the only kind of warning I have is so there's a lot of public bathhouses. And I didn't find any where they actually let you wear shorts. So all of them are, they split them by gender. So there's the males and the females. But it's like, if you're uncomfortable, I was like, man, that was like the part of my military experience I try to block out the most. It's like, basic, yeah, marching and all that. But it's like, come on, public showers.
Interesting, interesting. What about tattoos? You're not allowed to have tattoos either.
Yeah, yeah, that was the other thing is if you had any visible tattoos because of gangs and all that, you couldn't use the bathhouses because of that.
Oh, I got birds on my arms. Not bad
Yeah.
though.
So yeah, and it's like, well, yeah, since you got to go without a shirt or anything, you can't even use something to cover them up. So yeah, they would probably ask you to leave even if they aren't gang related because it's just a no tattoos policy, just in case, because
Okay.
gangs would find some way around it. It's like, oh, bird tattoos are okay. All right, let's start using bird tattoos instead of our traditional ones.
All right. Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, so Bruce, give us a little bit more of an insight on how things keep rolling along for you when you kind of have the requests coming in through that word of mouth, you just kind of get people calling you up on your cell phone, or people hand you information, or this happens at parties, or how do you
Yeah,
kind of?
no, they call me. They call me, they hear about me, and they want to know my price. And I don't know, I think $250 an hour is my going rate right now, which isn't too bad. Usually the second hour is 150, but 1 hour is normally good. But some people have me for 3 hours, and like Turtle Bay, the last one, I made $1,000. And but yeah, I don't know. It's very unique, and nobody ever complained, really. But once in a while, you get a crazy person saying, "Oh, those birds should be left in the wild." But most tropical birds like that, they love the affection. They love like cockatoos. They love people. And macaws, and they become part of your family. Your child. And some of them are free flight. I said, lady, this bird can fly away if it wants to. It's nice to have that. But then when they get spooked, they fly. And then when they get spooked, they fly. And then sometimes they get scared and they don't stop flying. And you got to go find them or trust people because it's going to land on their shoulder or something like that, But I'm too old to climb trees now, my son does. But it's crazy, but it's nice to have a bird that can fly and stay with you. But so you can clean up the people's act, when they say, "Oh, those birds should be left in the wild." It's not always true. They're happy. So, but
Yeah.
not too
I
many people
imagine.
can interact and touch a bird like that. I mean, I got the hyacinth macaw, the blue bird from Brazil, Rio, and it's a $20,000 value bird, and people actually can take a picture with one like that, and give me $5. What a deal! And they have the picture forever. But in parties, I don't charge. The party pays me, and so I don't have, I don't expect that.
Gotcha. So is this like a chain reaction? Like you mentioned you have business cards. Are you like putting like when you're at a party or where you're at an event and you're doing stuff, or how do people get your number? Through people you know, or how do they end up calling
That's it. Yeah, they just talk to the party people, I guess. I do have a sign that I sometimes bring. Just says bird guy and entertainment and what do I say, barter parties, breeder, and so I do a little bit of advertising. And I got a website on it, and so if they go to it, they're going to get nothing, which sucks. But just they call me, if they're interested, and but a lot when I do corporate things, when I have a sign like that, they're from other parts of the country, so a lot of good. That's not going to do me any good. But when I do local parties, it's good. Military, the word gets around pretty fast through them. And but again, like I love to advertise, but then I don't want to get too busy, So I don't know what to do. I'm so confused. But I never turned down nobody. Somebody just said 250 was too much, and I texted them back. I said, "I'll do it for 200 if you're interested, but don't tell nobody." And they didn't get back to me yet. So I mean, my work is easy, but and I got insurance, and that's a little costly, but I don't know what good the insurance is going to do. I never, well, I used it once, yeah, but
All
whatever.
right. Well, yeah, you said your son works with you, so if you ever get too busy, would he be able to take over and
Well, he assists me. I
yeah.
married my wife to do the same, but then she's shy, and she says, "Let Christopher do it with you." I says, "No, I want you," and she didn't do it last time I did Turtle Bay, but yeah, she's not much help, damn it. But I I made the I did it already, so I can't get rid of her. So she's good when I get home.
There you go.
Hmm.
But
So Tim, you're talking about all the digital tech stuff. What goes on in your journey, Tim, that's offline and is kind of the old school traditional, like how do you bring that to balance that you're doing both sides of the equation?
Uh, the offline part, I'm not quite sure what you mean because I'm mostly online in front of my computer.
Okay.
That's unfortunately, but that's, whether it's for work or, just free time and all that sort of stuff. I was like, so, but far as away from the computer, I'm not sure if you're talking about professional or just personal. It's like one of the things that that will pull me away from my computer is board games. So like my family likes to play Settlers of Catan, things like that. Like we don't do the typical Monopoly and like Game of Life. Those are a little too boring for us. But we've got some interesting board games that you'll find at like those fantasy shops and stuff like that. It's like, oh, every once in a while they'll come on. It's like, oh, that's a really cool premise and uh, that sort of thing. So like that'll get me away from the computer. Otherwise, I'm playing video games or watching YouTube and mostly catching up on news and letting that go in the background while I work. Yeah.
Okay. Well, like Bruce is here talking about birds, so that gets me thinking, like, Tim, when's the last time you were at a zoo or, getting
Oh,
out into the wilderness, taking a hike? I mean, you got to do something along the
yeah,
line,
and it's like
around the lake, or what do you do?
so I think that's the plan for this weekend. As soon as we get so I live close to family, thankfully, so we're all within about an hour of each other, and so we're waiting on my oldest brother to find out his schedule to figure out what hours were available. So on tomorrow or Monday, and my sister-in-law is talking about a canoe trip potentially. So if weather permits. So if not, we'll find something else to do. But it's like the last time we did something. Yeah, last time we did. I think that was. Yeah, well, it was like the last time I did something outdoors was in Japan. When we went to Fuji, we didn't climb all the way up, but we climbed up a little bit of the oh man. And I was exhausted, so I'm glad we didn't go up the main thing. But there's a pagoda where I wanted a picture with the pagoda with Fuji in the background. And so this really tall red pagoda, whatever. And then behind that, I was like, "Oh, what's up there? What's up there?" And it went for like another 45 minutes, and by the end, I was drained. I'm like, okay, yeah, that was
No.
a hike. And it was like the time before that, yeah, we went canoeing. I believe it was also on Memorial Day weekend. When was that? Like 2 years ago, I think. So not a full camping trip. I haven't been on a camping trip in probably 10 years. But those are fun when you can get around to it. But as you get older, it's harder to harder to get people's schedules to all line up.
But you're a young guy. You're
Uh,
still young.
yeah, I don't look it, I guess, but I am 40.
I was gonna say at least 40. Yeah, good.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I guess that's still young. In my
Better.
mind, it's like, oh no, that's halfway there.
I'm almost 69.
All right.
October.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. That
yeah,
sounds old to me. But
yeah. So I guess yeah, in comparison, 40 is young to you.
yes,
Yeah.
And you
I
guys
feel
have
to be
no
40
idea.
again.
You guys have no idea how old I am, so we'll keep
Hmm.
guessing here.
38.
That is a fantastic guess, and I'm not gonna do too much reaction until Tim brings forward his guess.
Uh, yeah, I was gonna say somewhere around hmm. Yeah, 38's a really good guess, but let's go the Price is Right rule. Let's go 37. I could either go under, or I could
36.
go over. I chose under.
Yeah, that's even a better guess, Tim.
Okay, so it's the opposite direction.
36.
No, no, no. Let's 41?
No, down.
What? Oh, down? No, it made it sound like really? Okay. Yeah, based on the way you were responding, I was
What
like
a
you
great
were seeming like
game! Oh my gosh!
you were like, "Oh, you're giving me more credit than it." So I was like, "Oh, maybe I misunderstood." 35? All right, we're
Oh
we're
my
just gonna
gosh!
keep going down and down until we get
Give it
there.
up, Tim.
18.
There we go.
We'll get there eventually. It's somewhere.
There you go. Yeah, let me show you my high school picture. I look exactly the same as my high school picture. So I'm actually 53, folks. You wouldn't believe
See,
it, but
that's yeah, 53. Yeah, you
No
do not
way.
look it.
Wow.
Yeah, I would have said 42 at the most.
hey,
Wow.
keep saying it. I don't want to stop you from saying it. Spread that around the world. Tell
Wow.
everybody,
Wow.
don't say 1 year above 42. Is that what you just said? Yeah.
Yeah,
So there you go.
Wow. Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get told a lot that I look young, and that's why I tend to grow some facial hair. Otherwise, people are like, treat me like I'm still a teenager or a college graduate. I'm like, no, I've got a,
Oh yeah. Yeah, if I was bartending and you wanted a beer, I'd say, show me your ID. Thank you.
I hate that when people say that.
uh, yeah. And the other thing is, well, so I don't have any gray or anything in my hair, but in the beard, it's salt and peppery. So I was like, oh, it's more noticeable.
I take off my hat and show my bald head, and that doesn't help. And they still want to see an ID. I think it's the law. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Anyway, cool. Very interesting.
yeah, so Tim, in terms of, continued growth in your midlife and personal professional development, kind of what do you do to, keep that brain going, other than your projects you have?
Yeah. Well, I was like, that is so I've got my work in digital marketing and helping out my clients, and those they take the priority. But in addition to that, I have my own business. So I started my actual LLC in 2017 with an idea for a social media site, and that was at the time I like without getting too much into the weeds, I don't know if you've heard of the adpocalypse or whatever. It's a term being thrown around by a lot of YouTubers because they rely on advertising. And 2017 advertisers were pulling out because of negative publicity and things like that. And a lot of people's incomes that were reliant on that were is cratering. And they turned to other platforms. One of the big ones was Patreon, but then Patreon was starting to kick people off even as far as I could tell, they weren't violating the terms of service, but Patreon was just like, oh, we don't want the negative publicity either, and would just, kick people off of their accounts. So I was like, okay, there's got to be a way we can set this up and create a new system. And so I was talking with people in forums, and I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of, software performance engineers and programmers in here. I'm pretty sure we all have similar views. I'm pretty sure if we pool our resources together, come up with something, we could create our own platform, it wouldn't have these issues. And you know, but I guess it was a little bit of naivety on my part, but I came up with a structure for a platform. I was like, okay, this would work. It's utilizing some of the techniques from Bitcoin in a distributed architecture. We could create our own version. It would be very cheap to run for us internally, and it would provide a solution for the best of both worlds. And if you look at most of these platforms, like YouTube was around in the early 2000s, and Facebook, a couple of years later, all of the technology they're built on, it's all decades out of date. It is operating on old systems, old technologies, old ways of doing things. Ever since 2012, uh, the architecture of Bitcoin, you can apply that to so many other systems, and it's not being applied as it should be. So my idea was to take some of that and apply it to a social media platform, and I created my LLC definition software and started working on that. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out for me, but it led to me to what I'm currently doing. Like whenever I get free time, I've got a program that I'm working on. I won't go into details here, but it's a passion project related to that. That if I'm successful on that, is gonna it could be revolutionary. At least the way I'm seeing it is it's revolutionary. But that's kind of a topic for another time.
Well, make
But
sure to book yourself back in right here at World of Ability when that's ready to be shared. We want to make
yeah,
sure that you share it here. That'd be great. So,
yeah,
so Bruce, what else fills your life? Are you a big sports fan? What's all
Negative.
going on? What's
No
that?
sports. No sports on this side.
No
Um,
sports at all. What
Being
kind
married
of
to a
culture you
Japanese
take up
wife,
outside of
young.
your birds?
What's that?
I was just wondering what kind of culture you take on outside of your birds. What do you do to get
Well,
out?
I'm kind of a newlywed. I got 5 years with my wife, and she's 12 years younger than me, so that takes a lot of my time. No, and
just keeping up with her.
um, the what?
I said just to keep up with her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But what else? What else? I don't know. No, just taking care of my house and my property is just that's a full-time job basically. I was doing Uber for the on the side, but I quit that during COVID. And not too much excitement, just living life, enjoying it, We go to the beach on Sunday every Sunday, and take the dog, and got a simple life, real simple life. No stress. Try not no stress. Just keeping my computer working and the birds alive, and staying healthy is enough. So that's where I'm at. So just no complaints. Oh, what can I say? Just do the best I can. I'm a Trumper, so I'm on watching the news all the time. So I'm just hoping that he does what he says he's gonna do, and I can't. Well, I don't know. Better not talk politics, right? But I think he's great, and I lost a lot of friends because they don't like him, and I says, "Well, you're an idiot, so I don't want nothing to do with you anymore." So I'm
Yeah.
losing friends. But Hawaii, there's not too many. Well, actually, I'm meeting a hell of a lot of people that like him. So, but I'm glued to the TV 24 days, 24 hours a day, pretty much. It's always on. So I don't know if I offended anybody yet, but
No, that's it's like usually I don't talk about politics, and quote that I like from Michael Jordan when he was asked, he said, "Well, Republicans buy shoes too," and I was like, "That's a great answer." It's like even if you're of a different political persuasion, your customers are on both sides of the aisles. Don't piss half of them off. I mean, there's some pretty
right.
good examples of businesses doing that and losing out big, like Bud Light
Yeah,
and Taylor Swift lost
exactly.
large market sectors because they decided to take a political stance. And I'm like, it's not good for business, and maybe you feel good about it because of your politics, but
Yeah,
there's better ways and better or more other areas where it makes more sense to you for you to talk about your politics when you're trying to
yeah,
promote your business or you're just out there on social media just spreading. That's the worst place. That's the place that you people don't want to hear it. So
exactly. I mean, I'm proud. I love Neil Young. Grew up listening to Neil Young and Willie Nelson, and they're not too. They're pretty democratic, and I hate to choose sides, but just got to
yeah,
bite the bullet. Still got
yeah,
to
you just
love them.
gotta learn to separate the art from the artist because there's a
There
lot
you
of
go.
people. You're like, oh, I really like what they do, but once they start talking, you're like, oh, this person's kind of an idiot, and then you don't want. So you
Exactly.
try to distance the two as much as possible. Social media has not helped that as far as the celebrity personality.
Amen. Amen. So, yeah, I try to keep my mouth shut. And I won't put a sticker on my car, no way, or a flag or any decorations around my property because I don't want broken windows or anything like that. Because nowadays that's what people do. But
So,
no more.
hola. I just
What?
wanted to join in
Hello.
here. We're en route, and Leon says he's going to be in about 15 minutes. So I want to introduce Leon to you with Clean Water Foundation and Bird Guy. He's coming to Illinois in November to do a coffee with a cause. He's met with some coffee farmers and doing business with them, and we're going to do a fundraiser there in November. And I'm sure he'd love to have you there with the birds and everything. So stay tuned. We'll have Leon should be joining us in about 15 minutes. I don't know, Kurt, if you want to play one of the videos, I'm on here, but we're en route. I'm with the captain of the sailboat here. And the sailboat's name is Tequila Flashback. So we are in San Carlos, Mexico.
Wow. Fun.
Yeah, watch out for that tequila flashback. That can really catch up to you.
Keela and I never did get along.
No?
Stuff,
Oh yeah.
stuff will kill you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't drink, but I was in the military, so a lot of people I know drink pretty heavily. I have yet to meet somebody who drank tequila and then the next day was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it again." It's always "Oh, that was a bad idea. I shouldn't do it." And it's like, and yet they will do it again, but they always there's always regret the next morning.
Stuff is nasty. Yes. A
Yep.
nice cold beer on a nice hot day is beautiful.
There
Or
you
on
go.
the beach.
I'm in Milwaukee. I agree with you there.
There you go.
Bruce
You
City.
Well,
ought to know.
they have Corona Zero here, so there's no alcohol in Corona. So we're safe sailing.
Wow.
I,
Very
that
good.
I don't
No
I've
think,
had
Corona in
Coronas.
Mexico?
yeah, I was like, I don't think that's correct.
Well, you don't think it's correct that
Corona does have
zero
alcohol, right?
alcohol?
Is it a non-alcoholic beer?
Yeah,
They've
Corona's
created, yes, they've created a non-alcoholic
Oh,
beer. Yes,
okay.
they do.
Okay.
Corona
Not the
Zero.
regular
So
Corona. It's a version of it
it
that is.
tastes like it. It tastes like it. You just don't get the buzz, the
Buzz.
high. You don't get the hangover. So, anyway,
I got
so
you. I thought it was
but
just like a
it's
zero
refreshing.
calorie version.
It's refreshing, and yeah, so that's what we've done too. And Bird Guy, I saw Captain Robert. He brought his sailboat over here from the Hawaii Yacht Club. I sailed with him. He was my neighbor, and I know you've been at the Hawaii Yacht Club too. So he's doing well. He's working on the deck and engine, and hopefully we're going to sail the Sea of Cortez this summer. And that's where we're at, San Carlos, Mexico.
Wow. Far out.
all right. Let's go to that video. Sue, are you ready? Sue's
Ocean Cleanup or Clean Water Foundation, whatever one. So we'll be introducing Leon in about 15 minutes. I'll see if he can join
For
earlier.
the
Thank you
love
so
of
much.
water, World Water Day, March the 22nd. Join us as we celebrate World Water Day with the fourth book in the Acts of Kindness series by Marianne of Waikiki. Meet Robo Motivation, a brave robot delivering clean water to schools worldwide. Alongside Waterflow the whale, our deaf ocean hero, they show that every act of kindness can change the world, one drop at a time. Plus, meet Pollination, the inspiring bee championing sustainability, and Mr. Penmanship, the Emperor Penguin, urging you to stand up for climate change by writing to Greenpeace. Powered by Lucy Lynch's Love is the Only Way. This movement reminds us that love, kindness, and action create waves of change. This book is dedicated to Leon McLaughlin, founder of Clean Water Foundation, Seattle, Washington, USA. All U.S. classroom teachers can request copies of the books for every student via donorschoose.org. Get your copy today on Amazon and visit actofkindnessseries.com. Unite for the love of water.
there it is. What do you think, Tim?
Oh, that's pretty cool. So I wonder what the process is. Are they desalinating ocean water in order to create clean water, or is it taking kind of like natural springs and stuff like that, and then because I imagine that process is much easier to make clean drinking water out of, and that is a necessity. But yeah, when he shows up, I guess that'd be a question for him.
Yeah, I mean, to
Yeah,
me, it takes the whole thing. I mean, some of it is dealing with the litter piles and everything, just
yeah,
the pollution,
yeah.
you know.
Just the natural pollution in the ocean, and the other side is, hey, we need more sources of clean drinking water, and right now it's very expensive for both parts, and it's like and watching some YouTube videos, I'm like, man, there's some groundbreaking technology that's coming out when it's regarding all of that. That's really cool and really innovative. And I'm like, man, I hope they're successful with a lot of that stuff because, yeah, reverse osmosis, very, very expensive, but that's it's the I don't it's the best way to get your water filtered and from impurities because there's a lot of old tactics where you're like, oh, well, it's drinkable, but I wouldn't want to drink it.
Yeah. And that's where Leon's very effective in he was holding those water filters, so he's trying to make those water filters available around the world to,
hmm
help make an immediate improvement to water quality for people that don't even have a filter to get it to
Yeah,
that level of quality.
yeah. It's a vast improvement over the iodine tabs they give you when you're deployed because it's like, oh, yeah, they'll make the water drinkable, but it doesn't taste good.
Right, yeah. There you go. So Marianne, anything else you got for us while you're here?
I don't know if you can roll over and play the Underwater Acts of Kindness book for the Great Pacific Garbage Patch because Bruce is over there. And we highlighted the military families from Red Hill contamination where 100,000 families were misplaced. due to the water contaminants. So I don't know if Bruce has any information about it, but Bruce, I've been working on these videos. And we're still en route, so waiting for Leon. But Leon apparently has some people from CNN, and they're going to be promoting this book as well. So we got good things that are happening. So I just text him again, Clean Water Foundation. They're out of Seattle, Washington. Can you play the other one, Kurt?
Yeah, Sue's queuing it up. We're ready to go, Sue.
Susan.
Right? You
Could
got
help
it.
save the ocean just by listening to a story. Set sail with underwater acts of kindness. Join Noah, the hard of hearing humpback whale, and his marine friends as they take on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. On their journey between Hawaii and California, they discover an enormous pile of plastic, but with teamwork and courage, they plan to clean it up. With the guidance of Dod General of the New Earth Army, they rally ocean creatures and you to help restore our seas. Now available on Amazon Audible, listen as author Marianne of Waikiki narrates this inspiring adventure, featuring mesmerizing music by Lucy and the Perfect Wave and Nick's guitar, echoing the sounds of whales and dolphins. This book is dedicated to Boy and Slat, founder of The Ocean Cleanup, making waves for a cleaner future. Sing along with Noah's song and dive into a world of peace, love, happiness, and thanks. After reading, visit the Acts of Kindness series YouTube channel for more adventures. Learn the ASL ABCS with Dr. Fingers, the fingerspelling hermit crab on YouTube, kids. Get coloring books now at www.actsofkindnessseries.com and Amazon. Plus, grab your New Earth Army t-shirt and pledge to protect our planet. Underwater Acts of Kindness by Marianne of Waikiki. Available now on Amazon, Audible, and actsofkindnessseries.com.
Yay.
There he is, Leon,
Very
once again.
interesting. Clean
So,
water. Thumbs up.
yep, there you go. So, Tim, any further reaction from you?
Well, yeah, again, kind of the thought came to mind, and it was like, oh, I remember when conservation used to be, both sides of the political aisle. Now it seems to only be one. So I was like, I was like, I'm happy that this effort is going on. I hope that both sides can be like, hey, this is something we need to get a hold of, and there seems to be a lot of that political divide. So I was like, hey, this is something both sides should be able to agree on. We need to stop polluting and clean up things. But it seems like there's the one side who's like, it's the end of the world, everything's gonna go, we gotta go overboard. And it's like, well, there's a right way to do this, and we gotta make sure that we do it in a way that is sustainable and affordable. Otherwise, it's gonna cause, other catastrophes. And trying to mitigate one disaster, we create more. So hopefully, we can do it in a way that makes the most sense and is actually productive.
Yeah, it's a little bit of every person on the planet taking, their realm of responsibility and what each person in the world can do to, improve upon the position of our environment and climate. And I'm working with folks who are big in, making it beyond sustainability. And, so
Yeah.
when we talk about politics, that's just, that's the debate about the role of government.
Yeah.
But the idea is, churches, temples, synagogues, faith elements like that can go out there and, do ministerial work in this realm and, do that volunteerism from those
Yep.
spaces. And, we can always do all the nonprofit work and create volunteer groups, and we can continue to do education, go into our public libraries and such like that, and do things to the tune of citizen action, like as
Yeah.
residents, just
Citizen
through
action. That's
neighborhoods.
the thing a lot of people are overlooking nowadays. They always want to blame big organizations, and they want some government program to handle things. And it's like, well, most of the garbage that ends up in these kinds of things, it's trash that we just let, you know, let litter our streets, and it gets blown into waterways, and then it flows out into the ocean. That's the vast majority of it. It's not, a company constantly polluting, yes, but it's the collection of all of us not doing our job and putting trash in recycle bins and things like that, and getting it, putting it in a place where it's not going to spread and not going to get in our water systems. that's something we can all do. And just anytime you find some litter, how hard is it to pick it up and either put it in your pocket until you find a trash can, or just put it in a trash can that's nearby. Super easy, and as long as you get in that habit, it if everybody's doing it, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yes, totally agree.
So Tim, I mean, you served as a veteran, so you've done a lifetime of volunteering by just being a part of the military.
Yep.
But post-military, have you been taking on any volunteer roles, getting involved in your faith community or anything like that?
Uh, can't think of any big projects that come to mind recently, but I have worked with groups, and um, it's like one of the big things that I try to do when I can is those roadside cleanups, like the adopt a mile type thing. They do those kinds of events where you go out and you pick up trash along the side of the roads, and you'd be surprised at how much accumulates over just the course of a month. I've done Habitat for Humanity projects. I was like, so there is the other stuff with, with my faith of doing outreach and things like that, but I don't consider that in the same same category because that's personal and spiritual and not necessarily something like a volunteer type event. But I was like, I can't think of anything like big that I've done. The last major thing that I was a part of is, so yeah, I did spend 8 years in Montgomery, Alabama, but there was a 6 month window where I was deployed to Djibouti, Africa. So that was my one reprieve from from life in Montgomery. And as part of that, we did a huge cleanup project because there's this you know it's a large educational effort when it comes to the same kind of things that we take for granted about picking up trash. And it's like, yeah, there's litter in the United States. It's way worse in some other countries. And so there's a huge weekend project that we did where we cleaned up 2 miles of road, and as part of an initiative from the base there. So that was the last major project I remember being a part of.
Very good. Well, now we have we'll call him the man of the hour. We won't let him know that you guys are the men of the hour, but we'll get Leon in here. It seems like he's connecting. Leon McLaughlin, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, pretty good. How's it going, Kurt?
Oh, pretty good. So we're here with your newest best buds, Tim and Bruce. Congratulations. Your fan club is growing, Leon.
Hey, can't wait. Just when we thought it was great, it got even greater.
There you go. So Leon, you know about our Birdman here, Bruce McGonigal. Have you ever heard of this guy?
Marianne was telling me about him.
Oh, there you go, Bruce. Your reputation precedes you. Way to go.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm growing too, I guess. That's
Yep.
great.
How's it going?
Good. Everything's beautiful.
Love that shirt.
Yeah. Right.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Plenty of them.
That's
I
how
don't
you
wear-
roll.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thumbs up.
Yes, so Leon, when you're near Bruce and you're running fundraisers, maybe you gotta bring in the Birdman and
Good guy.
really liven up your fundraisers with some birds. What do you think, Leon?
That would definitely do it. And them cool shirts. We'll sell the merchandise with them cool shirts he got on.
Yeah. I've done the Waikiki yacht club, and I've done. They called me back several times, and I thought I did the Honolulu one once.
And getting hot dogs from Peru, and we're gonna get a chicken. Pollo is the word for Spanish, and papas is potatoes. Big rotisserie chickens. The crew's gotta eat, and we got our driver with us, so we're all good here. We're teaching a 15-year-old how to drive, and he's also learning how to be a sailor as well. So we got to go on. We got a designated driver. Tequila Flashback has designated driver.
You go, girl.
There it
Yes,
is.
indeed.
She's living it up, going out and playing. She says, "Go out and play." That's what she's doing.
Exactly. Yeah, we got a
Okay.
big show
So,
coming up June 22nd in Kirkland with international opera, jazz, and blues singer Kim McGuire and Nicole Conrad for Water for Children for the Hopi and Navajo Reservation. So that should be a big event. And then we're looking at our funding to come in where we can have that event and documentary in actually Waikiki and on the Big Island with our Coffee for a Cause, Water for Children project that we're doing. So things are moving along pretty well.
Wow. I got
awesome.
an ex-wife that does coffee on the Big Island. Captain Cook in Kona.
That's where we're connected with Menahuni's Coffee, and they're in Captain Cook Island.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yep.
Not the
Yep.
same, but wow, I wonder if you need an extra backup.
Yeah,
She's
I
pretty
think
good.
so. That would be awesome. Cause that would be totally awesome. We should exchange numbers. I'll put the information on the chat.
All right. Interesting. She sells,
Yeah, I'm
they
just
do
sending
their,
you the links, so you'll see everything on this link that I just sent you. With all
okay.
because we're working with American Airlines nonprofit airline ambassadors. So I just
Okay.
sent all the links, and let me send you my number too in the chat also, so you can give me a call. Would love to hook up with her.
Okay. If I don't get it here, if it's not recorded, or should I write it down?
Yep.
I can get it through. I can get it
Well,
through Marianne.
Kurt. Yep,
yeah,
Marianne and Kurt. And I just sent the link actually.
I was
Yeah, I
just about
saw
to say, if
that.
you're on the desktop, there's those three buttons at the top. You can click on that, and there's an option to save chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, if you're on your cell phone, that I don't know where that option is or if it's even available. So, but if
Yeah,
you're
I
on the
don't think so.
desktop,
Oh, wait.
you're on the desktop.
No, I'm
Uh,
on my iPhone.
okay. So then I don't know if that option is available for you. But if you were
Or
on
Oh,
the,
or Kurt can send you my information.
yeah,
okay. Yeah, I'll get it.
Or
I'll get it.
or
Oh, I see
or
your number there, 206
or Marianne. Either one.
28. Okay, okay, no problem.
Yeah, and I'll also send my email
Yeah, and
address.
Okay, when you
I'm
back in
sharing a
Hawaii?
picture of you, Leon, with
I'll be in Hawaii in October.
I'm sharing a picture.
Okay.
I thought you said November.
We're gonna try to do the event in November, but I'll be there in October.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I have a picture of you with your Water Flow the Whale t-shirt and a water unit. You want to tell us about being at the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind, how I won the award, $1,000. We gifted a water unit and our second book, Rabbit Acts of Kindness, with the sign language interpreters and the kids and being on campus in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's how the whole thing started with our Coffee for a Cause. When we delivered a water unit at the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind that Mariana had donated. And I was at, it's funny you said the Waikiki Yacht Club, because I was at the Waikiki Yacht Club after the event, and I was telling the guys there about what we did on that installation, delivering the water unit to the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind. One of the guys there was one of the biggest farmers in Hawaii, like you said, on Captain Cook's Island, Minahu Coffee, and they were like, hey, we would like to do something. We just bought a restaurant, and they just bought a brand new restaurant at the Ilokai Hotel next to the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and said we could do a fundraiser for you here, and we could do this Coffee for a Cause. And that's how the whole thing started. So unbelievable. Now we're with about 8 different farmers around the world. And you'll see on the links our whole new Coffee for a Cause. They have music, artists perform, fundraising, and we're looking at doing a documentary with one of the top video photographers and interviewers for CNN to do this. So that's why I'll be in October putting all that together. Yeah, I'll be there from the 9th to the 11th, I believe. I think that's or the 13th, the 9th to the 13th. I got to look at the schedule to make sure I got the dates correct.
Very good. I'll be a big
Yeah.
69 by then.
Yeah.
October 2 is my birthday.
Okay, right on. Yeah,
Thumbs
maybe
up.
we'll hook up. Yeah,
I hope so. Good, good,
yeah,
good.
yeah. And I sent my email also. Marianne could put us on an email together. But yeah, if
All
you
right.
got a connection on Captain Cook's Island, that'll be great. And we could possibly get them some publicity on this CNN documentary that we're working on.
Sounds great. I'll let her know. It's my
Okay,
ex-wife.
okay.
All right. Good
Hey, you
deal.
never know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Never know. Awesome. We'll talk later more details.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's how the whole thing started when Marianne connected us up with the Hawaii School for the Deaf and Blind, and it just snowballed from there.
And she got $1,000.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Um, so Leon, can you tell us a little bit more about the water filters and how a little bit more about how your organization works?
Yeah. So what we do, we're in over 40 different countries right now. Our latest project is with the Hopi and Navajo Reservation. So we provide and custom design water filters for schools and clinics. Um, that way the children go to school, they get the water, we educate them about the water, they come home and educate the community and the family, so the kids is like goodwill ambassadors. So that's how we set up our programs. We're now partnering with Airline Ambassadors, who is American Airlines nonprofit. We also work with World Vision, the Gates Foundation, Starbucks, and others on these different water for children projects. So basically, we design these solar units because and no electricity units. That way, if you're in a lot of third world countries, it's an issue with electricity. So we actually do solar units. These units can do a gallon of water a minute. We have bigger units that's solar that can do 740 gallons of water an hour. If you're in a lake or a river, like a lot of these villages in, they get their water from the lake or the river. The people is washing up in the lake. The animals is in the lake. So you got a lot of contamination there. So what we do, we put our mobile machine, it's a mobile solar cart. If we don't do the machines in the schools and the clinics, we actually got a mobile solar cart. You stick the hose in the water, you get 740 gallons of water an hour, and you don't have to change those filters to after 5,600 gallons of water has been used. So like I say, we've worked with World Vision. I've been in South America. We got units in Africa. We work with the Peace Corps. So we got these units in 40 different countries. Our latest venture is with the Hopi and Navajo Reservation in Arizona, where we are providing them water in schools, clinics, and homes because they have an issue from the mining companies where they have uranium in their water. So we actually had to develop a special uranium filter along with the other filters that we work with to take out viruses and contaminants. So we got one of the biggest uranium filter companies working with us, helping us design these machines, along with the tribe working with us to design the machines, because who know more about the water than the people who live there. So we get them involved, and that's basically what we're doing. If you see those links I sent, you can check out those links, and it explains everything from A to Z, even on our latest adventure.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, and we've been doing this for over 20 years.
Wow.
And we usually have a fundraiser. So from the money from the fundraisers, we give the machines away for free.
Wow.
So that's how we get our funding to purchase the machines, is through fundraising. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, the Clean Water Foundation.
I think Hawaii has pretty good water considering except for like Red Hill when they had all that problems. But
Yeah,
I
but
don't
yeah, you're right. But in the outlying areas, in remote areas, the water is not so good, and really you can't trust tap water, even here in Seattle, where they say the water is the best water in the world. They really don't tell you them water reports. The only way you'll really know is get a true analysis, just like Flint, Michigan, with the lead in the water. So the best thing, if you with tap water, I would get a filter.
Yes, I agree. Totally
Now,
agree. Very good. I'm impressed.
yeah. Well,
So you
thank you.
mentioned Flint, Michigan. Are you also involved in like cleanup efforts for like that, or is that a little more, or is that I would say is that outside of your scope?
We actually were working with some of the colleges in Michigan to put water units in schools and clinics in Flint, Michigan. But what happened is that the bureaucracy got in the way. That's why we can operate out of the country better, because you don't have all that red tape. So when
Oh,
we actually fundraised and was getting ready to put water units in every school in Flint and to develop a filter to take out the lead that they had in the water. But then when we were getting ready to deliver the water units, they stopped us with the red tape, even though we were working with the colleges there to do it. And they felt so embarrassed that they wouldn't let us put the water units in the college that we were working with. And we even did a deal on Bloomberg about it called From Shoeshine to Humanitarian. And we were working with the Oakland Community College. We were working with the Highway Patrol, the mayor of Auburn Hills that we were working with to do it. And we got stopped on the day we were getting ready to send the churches. We got stopped on the day we were getting ready to send the water units to every school in Flint because of the kids, right? So we
yep.
were putting water filters in the schools because we like the schools and educate the children. They stopped us. They felt so embarrassed. We had to take those water units that we had fundraised for Flint and send them to Cambodia. And the kids in Cambodia, they didn't have no problem accepting the water units. But Flint
Yeah.
is still screwed because of the bureaucracy.
Yeah. So at least there's a silver lining that somebody got to use them. But man, that is it's sad when
Yeah.
it's easier to do things in other countries than it is to do it here. That's
You nailed it. It's easy
yeah.
to do things in other countries than it is to do here. Yeah, I mean, look at that big FEMA mess and all that stuff they still going through. And I work with World Vision when New Orleans first got hit with Katrina, and we were putting water units. We were working with Feed the Children, and we had a whole bundle package with World Vision. Guess what? The day we were getting ready to roll those trucks out, bureaucracy.
So what is it? The competition or who? One
No, it's
stop.
the government and the cities with the red tape. The city kind of want to do it because we had the mayor, like I said. But so say you say, okay, we want to donate free water units to Flint, Michigan, just like he said. You're gonna get hit with red tape to get it in because they're saying, okay, well, FEMA is gonna take care of this, so you don't have to worry about this because this is our territory. Say, for instance, and you know how that is.
We already
It's
know FEMA's no good.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit of the pride issue. They don't want to be shown up like, hey, that's what we're supposed to do, and we haven't been doing our job. We don't want somebody else coming in and showing us that it can be done.
Right.
Yeah, you hit it. And I mean, imagine you're working with an organization like World Vision, who's a
Hmm.
#1 humanitarian. So this ain't like saying I'm working with Joe Blow from
Hmm.
ABC Corporation. This is like World Vision, the Gates Foundation, the Peace Corps. These are serious organizations. So if they can't get in and we're working with them, because of the FEMA thing and the red tape and the bureaucracy, then there you go. But meanwhile, if we're with World Vision in Bolivia, no problem. We with World Vision in Cambodia. We with the Rotary Club in Africa, no problem. Just like we're working with the Hopi and Navajo reservation in Arizona, because as you know, it's two different. You know what I'm saying? Deals. It's not like working with FEMA don't have nothing to do with that. So you can go in those kind of places because basically the council have to approve you, and if they approve you, you're good to go. Two different rules of bureaucracy.
All right, folks, we're going to let that be the last word. We are coming up on the top of the hour. So, this is what we do, folks, here at the World of Ability Podcast Show and all across the World of Ability Podcast Network. It's all about celebrating people and everything that they do in their lives and bringing it together that we all do it together. And so, we have a little mantra here from Leon, and working together works. And so, yeah, that's what we do. And we're going to go right into a little final song and, getting a little singing of Love is the Only Way.
Love is my religion.
There we go. Very, very good religion. So we're gonna go over to our producer Sue Roskoff, my wife and co-operator of the World Ability Podcast Network. She's going back to her video here. She's shifting between things. We're running a telethon in a couple weeks, so she's getting ready for a crew here that's gonna be learning the ropes on Restream.io that we'll be using to get our telethon viewed by all of our followers. All right, Sue.
It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you, Tim.
It's not playing.
Account is not playing.
Yeah, same here. And like I didn't put my information in the chat. Would it be okay if I put
Oh, nope, I lied.
it in there now?
Yeah, put your information in and have Marianne or Kurt send it to me. I put my email, or send me an email.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put the website, and then if you want additional information, you can contact Kirk, or he'll send out the information. I'm not sure how that works, but I'll leave it up to him.
Okay.
Roger that. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Love is the only way. Love is the only way. Love is the only way. Take a breath. Let it be alright. Take a breath. Let it be enough right now. Let this moment be what it is. Let this moment be your doorway to bliss. Seeking love, 'cause it's seeking you. Seeking light, 'cause light is you. Finding ways to let your heart beat. Finding ways to let your heart beat. And love is the only way. 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 And then make a move now. Let your spirit groove now. Let your heart be open. Let it be alright. And let your love shine bright.
Aloha.